Hey everyone, so I'm back again with a video about this 2016, I believe, touch bar board. The issue with this, the customer sent it in, said his customer initially had liquid damage. It was working after he got it and cleaned it. Just gave it back to the customer. It was working, everything for except the power button and the thumbprint reader. The customer was fine with that. However, over time, the machine no longer powered on. So we received the board to diagnose it and see if we could fix it. And I believe I've done a video on one of these in the past when you're getting these issues throughout the diagnosis. And we're going to walk you through again on this particular board because it was working after the customer got it back for a while, and then all of a sudden it stopped working. So we're going to see, and we're going to start with what we started with last time in the last touch bar video with no power. We're going to hook it up to our amp reader. And see what kind of amperage we're getting through this, and seeing what kind of, see if we have a short to ground, or kind of get an idea of what's going on, because when you're having power issues, that's the easiest way to diagnose these and kind of get an idea of where to look first. So let me angle the camera over. Actually, I can just move the amp reader over to the camera. So I'm going to plug this in. This comes on. Let's see. All right, we're getting 5.2 volts and 2.8 amps. So when you're getting 5 volts going through this, you know that you have one of an issue, because you're supposed to be getting 20 volts going into the charging port. So either your P-bus chip is not powering these MUX chips that tell your power adapter when to send the 20 volts in, or the MUX chip itself is damaged. And I believe in the last video we did about this, the MUX chip itself ended up being damaged and we had to replace the MUX. But also, just doing a little visual check with our eyes, we can get an idea. So let's move over to the microscope camera, and let's just kind of take a look here at the board and see what we can see. So remember, over here, here's where your USB-C charging ports plug in. Here's your MUX chip, and I mean, around this looks okay. I don't see any liquid damage, any black pads or corrosion going on. Let's flip it over. There's another one on the back, and I don't know if you can see that, but right there you can see a pad or a leg on this capacitor that is darkened, and that's most likely from the liquid damage. Let's see if I can get you a good view. I think you can see okay. Yeah, there you go. So you can see how one side is really bright, this side is dark. That has to do with corrosion, and also when you have power going through a board and that's liquid damaged, this can cause corrosion like that. So right here we're going to have to remove this cover that covers one of the underfilled, it might be storage, or it might be, I think it might be RAM. I honestly don't know exactly what chips are underneath these, because I don't replace them, honestly, and I haven't had to deal with those a whole lot. But we're going to have to remove this metal shield, and I'm just going to use slowly heat this up so that I can pop that shield up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to hold the heat gun away from it quite a ways because I don't want to put it too close. If I put it too close, since these chips are underfilled, it's going to damage them. The solder joints underneath are going to expand, and they're not going to have anywhere to go with that underfill, and they're just going to bleed and bridge between each other, and you're going to have to take the chip off and reball it, and it's just a mess. So we're going to do this nice and slow, giving some distance between the heat gun and the board. heat that up. Let's see if we can. I can't bend it back yet. Let's see if we can just take this cover off. Maybe it'll heat up better like that. So it's not really heating up the way I hoped. So I'm going to try and just pry up on this. There we go. I was able to loosen it enough where I can pry up on this shield and bend that back. So now we can see this capacitor easily. Now let's go ahead and measure that with our multimeter and see if we do have a short to ground. I'm going to put this on diode mode. Put the red probe on ground. And then I'm going to touch the burnt leg of this. Wait just a second. Do I have on that setting? Yeah. No. There we go. Now it's on diode mode. Okay. Alright. There's not much of a leg there, but you can see it goes down. If I hold it there, it goes down to 0.001. That's a direct short to ground, because the other side here should be ground. Yep. You can see that's a perfect short to ground as well, because this side is ground. This side right here is going to be your power leg, and it's short to the ground. So we're going to pop that off. I'm just going to break it off because, I mean, it's a broken capacitor anyways. This one looks bad as well. I'm just going to break that one off. Off as easily as I had hoped. Sometimes they just pop right off. I add a little bit of heat to it. There you go. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to measure those pads and see if the board is shorted. So it's not. It was that capacitor. So you see how we're getting a good reading now on the multimeter. It's not 0.000, so it's not short of the ground anymore. So now I just need to replace those two capacitors that I've taken off. And this side should still be ground. It is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add some fresh solder to those joints. Now I'm going to get my donor board. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and remove that shield from this board so I can get to those components easily. Alright, so first I'm going to put on the big capacitors. Okay. Good. Now do the smaller capacitor. that up with a little bit of alcohol. Okay. Bend that shield back down. Let's see. I'm going to try and touch this up with just a soldering iron. Not sure if it's going to get hot enough to do that. Yeah. Try this. Let's add a little bit of solder to this. Carries that heat a lot better. Hate to add more heat to this area. I have to just to get this to stay. No, I'm not going to put that down yet anyways. I think it would be kind of silly to do that. Because, say that we put that shield back on, just thinking about this, say that we put the shield back on and it's still not working. So then we'd have to go and remove it again. So might as well just go ahead and diagnose it right now while it's loose. Glad I thought of that, because that's just a practice that you need to be in the habit of doing that. So I'm going to put this USB-C port back on. And look what we're getting now. Go to full screen cam. We're getting 20 volts, 3.56 amps. So we're good. This board is now going to power on. I'm going to get it installed back into the unit and make sure it does, but that's one of the first things that you guys need to check for when you have a liquid damage board. Even if it was working before in the past, if it's failed working after a while, get you an amp meter so that you can plug into the USB-C port, and you can check and see, you know, what your voltage is that's being put into the board. Because if it's 5 volts, it's not. You know the problem's going to be with either the P-bus chip or the MUX chip. One of those issues is going to be resolved just by plugging in the amp meter. So now we got this board working. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get the shield put back on and back in the machine, but should be good to go. We're getting 20 volts like we're supposed to. So anyways, I hope this little video helped you guys out, and we'll catch you next time. Hope you have a good day.